Hey everybody, Mobile Gamers Unite. I'm a little sick today, but I figured I had to make a recording today because of where I am in my troop tree, okay? We finally made it to the snipers and the samurais. And I think this is something that needs to be brought up, needs to be talked about a little bit, because we have these badass troops, right, at the very end of our troop tree for our assassin troops. We have the samurais. Units damage is not reduced in melee battles. For them just to come with that, that's amazing. An attack increases by 7% during melee attacks. Crit increases by 7% during ranged attacks. So these guys can attack ranged, and they can also attack in melee combat, and they pretty much have like extreme magic bow built into them where they're not going to take a penalty from melee combat, and yet they can still do a ranged attack, which just makes these guys absolutely awesome. So I guess the real question is, why don't we see a ton of samurais running around? I haven't even seen any in game, and here's why. There are two units that can equip the samurai, okay? And, of course, we have Silver Wolf over here, and we have Kira Kazami, the Crit Master. So, my theory is, obviously, there's going to be different heroes coming out in the future, and some of them will, hopefully, be able to have the samurai, okay? Because I can't wait to play with these guys. They are awesome. But the biggest dilemma I think people face when running samurai are the fact that they probably have better troops built up for Kirikazi and for Silver Wolf. Troops that they already have stock into. You know, I mean, a level 1 samurai versus, like, Kirakazami can run with berserkers. Ooh, that's kind of hard. I mean, like, your berserkers are probably already level 5 or level 6. And then you get to the samurai, so it's hard for anybody to put stock into this troop, even though they're so badass, because you're going to be putting so many resources into upgrading an SR character's troops when he could already be running around with berserkers doing about probably even a little bit more damage because they're going to be a higher level, of course. So that is why we don't see too many samurais. But I do got to give them props. This is an absolute awesome troop. And I don't know, who knows, maybe some of the heroes that they're dropping in the next couple of weeks, maybe some of them can use samurais. Who knows? I'm going to be keeping an eye out for them, okay? And then we have the Firebrand Sniper. Now, these guys are cool, too. I like their little helmets. They look cool. They don't look as cool as the samurai, okay? But here's the thing. When attacking, attack increases by 10%. That's nice. Deals extra damage equals to 5% of the enemy's hit points after battle. And we see this used against us all the time in Guild Wars. I see that ability all the time. In fact, that fixed damage is the reason why sometimes I don't send just one character to clear out a Guild War map. Because if you have a few enemies that have the Firebrand Sniper ability, they're going to hit you for fixed damage, whether that unit can hurt you or not. So realistically, a level 60 character can get taken out by a bunch of weak little mobs as long as each of them are hitting you with that 5% fixed damage. So that's why even on some of the lower level Guild War runs, I'll send 2 heroes instead of just 1, even if I think that 1 hero could possibly clear out that level. If you're sending 2 heroes, your enemies' attacks are going to be split up, you know, obviously cut in half. And then each of your characters only take so much of this fixed damage, and they have a higher chance of survival. But these are awesome troops. And these, unlike the samurai, they already have a few characters that can use them. Joshua can take advantage of them, and so can Rachel. So I'm going to be looking into that. As a result of some of these characters being able to use these guys that I actually have, we're going to go ahead and upgrade them. Just to kind of see. All right. The thing is, though, Joshua he has mist dancers that he can run around with, and they do a strong debuff to everybody, and that stacks with his AoE skills. So I don't exactly know how much these snipers are going to bring to the table for him. All right. Rachel, I think, could probably take more advantage of them. I'd have to really look at Rachel and see what other troops she can run with. But for Joshua, I really see the mist dancers as being, and I guess it all depends because, like, if you're going to go fight a dragon, then you could at least get the debuff on the dragon from the mist dancers. This fixed damage, because it is off of your max hit points, this will never affect dragons, or probably most bosses. We are getting a patch in the future where fixed damage that's based off of your stat, being attack, defense, or magic defense, if it's based off of that stat, then dragons will be taking that damage. But any fixed damage that's based off of the enemy's hit point pool, like 5% of the enemy's max HP, they'll never take that damage. So these guys might be all right for like some PvP or something like that. And I mean, this fixed damage is going to apply to a lot of things, just not the really, really gnarly things where you'd really want it to apply. So, but these snipers, I have seen these guys used because they can be used by Almeda. Matthew can use them. So I've seen them around. They do decent damage, okay? And also they get a pretty nice attack buff. Attack increases by 12%. That's really nice right off rip. These guys are only level 2. And then you get their fixed damage. Also, in order to get the snipers and the samurais, you have to level up Jungle Ranger. Now this, I think, is one of the best abilities that is in this tree. I would highly suggest maxing this out as high as you can. If I had these 2 straps right here, I would level it up right now. But essentially, this gives you archer attack and defense increased by 13%. And I'm sure it goes a lot higher. I know it does. When fighting flyers. So that makes them more effective against flyers. So like the skills that cavalry have that make them more dangerous to infantry, this is kind of like the same thing. This is making your archers more deadly against flyers, which can be very useful, especially in PvP. You're going to see share. You're going to see flyers. There's going to be a lot of flyers, okay? When battling on terrain with the defensive bonus, damage dealt is increased by 13%. And anybody that really plays with rogues and archers, you know that you're already going to be trying to take advantage of any terrain that you can. So this is a big deal. Jungle Ranger, if you really play with rangers, if you play with ranged units, I suggest you level Jungle Ranger up all the way, okay? And of course, these are some of the coolest troops that we have. It's just hard to utilize them. Now the Shinobi can get used by Diehard if you unlock his assassin class. It can also be used by Matthew. And they can be used by Joshua. And since my Joshua does not have the extreme magic bow on this main account, that's why I have the Shinobis leveled up. Because Joshua can run around with Shinobis. They look cool. They do good damage. I honestly think that if you can get these guys to work, they do work better than the mist dancers if their fixed damage is applicable. So that's why I have them leveled up. I also have the mist dancers at around the same level. So if I'm running Joshua, if I'm running against a dragon or something like that, I'm going to bring the mist dancers for the large debuff that they give. But if I'm running, let's say, Guild War or something like that, where the fixed damage is going to be applicable, I'm going to run the Shinobis. They just look badass. All right? I really wish Joshua could run Samurais. I really do, because that just would be so sick. Hell, even without the extreme magic bow, it'd be nice if your unit's damage wasn't reduced in melee combat. But that's just the way she goes, boys and girls. And maybe we'll get some heroes pretty soon to kind of, fill this out a little bit so that samurais are more usable. I'm excited about them. I want to use these guys in the future. So hopefully that comes our way. I'm sure it will. Okay. I don't think this is going to be like this forever. Okay. So I felt like I had to make a video about it because I never really hear anybody talk about the snipers and the samurais. All right. So, and I just got to this point today, so I figured we'd talk about it real quick. This is what I think about them. Really don't put that much stock into the samurai until we see what we're going to get. Or, hey, if you've been over on the Chinese server and you know there's heroes coming out that are going to use the samurai, yeah, go for it. And also, please let me know. Leave me a comment or something. I would really like to know the potential heroes that can use samurai in the future, because then maybe I will put some stock into them. So, Mobile Gamers Unite, I hope you guys all have an awesome day. Don't get sick, and if you are, don't spread it. Everybody, I'm one click away. Have a nice day. Peace.